Okay, welcome everyone. Tom here. Sunday, 3:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Got to hear from me twice today. Aren't you peeps lucky? In this little analysis that I'm going to do, I'm going to be talking about what should happen or what I'm going to be looking at today to give me a signal of really my points of interest in trading sterling yen, dollar yen, euro yen, and I'll even go over a little bit of euro dollar. Although I don't really like to trade straight dollar versus anything because I do not trust the US dollar. I think it's a really really in some bad shape, and it's going to continue to get into worse shape. So I'd rather trade cross trade so I can trade one currency against another. And I just feel more comfortable with that. And, you know, it's basically a natural hedge kind of. So what we're really trying to look for is some decent moves. So the first currency pair that I'm going to talk about, or the cross currency pair I'm going to talk about, is sterling yen. Now, in the last video I did and put up on the good old great YouTube, I talked about ultra short-term trend, short-term trend, standard term trend, medium-term trend, long-term trend. So in this video, I'm going to be covering the ultra short-term trend, blending into the short-term trend. So as we all know, there are, or you should know, there are trends inside of trends. You have your big trend, and you got like your standard trend, short-term trend, ultra short-term trends. Right now, I'm going to go over sterling yen first, and then I will probably look at euro yen. So let me just look at sterling yen. Sterling yen right now, basically, although it has rallied quite nicely, there's an point of interest to me that basically says that it could basically move lower if we open below 151.60. So now I like to use a 1 hour chart for that. It doesn't necessarily mean it's just going to pounce lower below 151.60. It's basically that's a signal saying that there's something, something not quite right with the sterling against the yen. It most likely can travel lower. So you could either sell, or I would either sell, like I would watch price action and sell a small amount of whatever I wanted to do, and then wait for a rebound up to, probably if I break down through the 60 level, I'd probably look for a rebound up until like the 85, 90 level, and then sell the rest and put my stop. Now, where is the opposite side of this ultra short term movement? Where is the point of interest that says sterling yen can travel a bit higher? Well, an open above 152, say 25. If sterling yen can open above 152.25 on an hourly basis, most likely has a good chance to run to 152.80. Now, again, it's the same type of rules with the buying as the selling. If you get the open above, you got to watch the follow through. Always watch the follow through, because these really are points of resistance, but the resistance will turn to support if we can get the proper push. Now, if I was going to use Genesis thrust on this, I would say that let me do real quick Genesis thrust for you, and basically show you what I'm looking at with Genesis thrust. Okay, using Genesis thrust is basically telling me that there is support right here at 151.84. If we can hold this level and then open above that 152.20, say 25, we could probably run to 152.50, 152.60. Or the ultimate target would be like 152.80, something like that. So there is the points of interest. Now, if we open below 151.53, now I just said 151.60, but Genesis thrust is giving me an open below 151.53, we could see the market run down to 150.95. So these are the short-term points in sterling yen for today. So what these points are doing for me is to stop me from doing foolish things. So I'm just not going to go and buy or sell something without knowing where my points of interest are. Now, if I'm looking at euro yen, oh, that's euro dollar. Okay, let's do euro dollar. All right, I'll do euro yen because I said euro yen, so let's do euro yen. All right, right now, euro yen is in. Now, what I'm talking about now is the standard term, a bigger term. It is in a downward movement. It is in a natural reaction movement from a previous high around from 134.12. Okay, so it's still pushing lower. However, now we had a low come in on that trend at 128.59. So I think that a real cool thing for people, if you want to look at overall bigger trends and what the market's kind of whispering in your ear, I'm going to give you a rule of thumb. And it's just a rule of thumb. So you got to take it for what it is. When people always ask, like where do trend changes occur? Where do they happen? Like, how do I know that we stopped moving down and we started moving up? Now, a lot of times they want to know that like within 10 pips, and that's just not the way markets work. Okay, so the rule of thumb is from our recent low of July 20th in euro yen at 128.59. If I multiply that by 3%, so if I take 128.59 and I multiply that by 3%, and I add it to that price, 132.45 is going to be a level basically saying that the downward push perhaps is over. Then that doesn't mean it's just going to rocket back up, to 134 and a half, 135, 136, 137. It's not saying that. It's saying basically now you have to start changing gears. You have to start, instead of like fighting yesterday's battle, you're going to change gears and start saying, okay, now I need to find points of interest on the reaction side or the lower side, looking for pivot points to buy this thing out with low risk to get me back up through that 132.45 and start heading towards 134.12 for a new look and market. You could see what happens from that point. So the idea of these points is to get you to stop doing foolish things, get you to basically have a game plan that you can attack the marketplace with. So the overall big long-term picture is still downward movement, until we break 132 of 44. Let me find euro yen over here. Okay, where are we in euro yen? Let's look at euro yen. So yeah, euro yen's at 130.12. The big movement's 132.44. Basically says maybe that downward push is over and it's going to reconsolidate again. And of course, there'll be different points. But let me go to short term, not ultra short term, because I haven't worked out ultra short term on euro yen. I did on euro dollar. I don't know why I did that, but anyway. So right now, really the short term, not ultra short term. The short term is saying that an open below 129.61 pushes us back down towards that 128.59. And an open above 131.10, okay, opens up that 132.40 level. So it's kind of, now, because this is, not ultra short term, it's short term, the points are quite wide. So really the closest points to 129.61, and open below 129.61. Again, doesn't mean that you just go and sell it. It means that you have to start trying to time it, but that's the point of interest. So right now it's kind of in between anything. Now I can run Genesis. I'll run a Genesis thrust on this, so we get some closer points. So let me just put this on pause so you don't see the magical calculations because it is proprietary. Hang on one second. So what do I do here? Okay, I gotta. Okay, so Genesis thrust is basically saying at 130.18, an open above and a sustaining move above 130.18 pushes us a bit higher to 130.75. Since we're actually below that price, it kind of got rejected already. I'm really looking at the price point of 129.71. If the market opens, if euro, I was going to say mark yen. That's a blast from the past. If euro yen opens below 129.71, the target's 129.14. And if by some chance the euro is really getting pushed down, you're looking at a major target at 128.30 for euro yen. So you got these short-term points that I'm extrapolating using Genesis thrust is an open above 130.18 with good follow through brings us to 130.75. And then, there's resistance on the short term at 131.08. So 131.08, good. If you were able to scoop something at 130.20 and it rallied up to 131.08, well, that's darn good. So, but where would the stop be? If you were to buy like 130.18, you got to watch that 129.70. So, that's a 40-point stop. But watch the price action here on the open. If it can't get above 130.18 and struggling, watch that 129.71 for a clue. And open below that, most likely euro yen is going to push down a little bit, really because of euro dollar, not dollar yen. Now, dollar yen has been giving me conundrum because dollar yen has been in a rally mode since the low that we had at let me look here, right, 102.60 back in January of the beginning of the year. It's been in a rally mode. Now, dollar yen has to open above, we're talking now, again, short term, open above 111, let's 111 the figure, let's say. And then we can get a rally up to the 111.70 level. Now, if we can open above 111.70, dollar yen is showing some great strength towards really 114-ish. So, but again, I don't trust the dollar. I don't get it. I would think that now here's my bias coming through. I would think that the Japanese are going to repatriate yen, so that's why I have no problem really like looking at the crosses, like putting sterling against the yen, putting the euro against the yen, because I think the yen's going to come out on top. But again, you got to watch the points. So dollar yen, I don't really have anything real. Okay, so short term, not ultra short term, a break above. There's resistance right now at 110.70. An open above 110.70. Okay, is going to push dollar yen probably towards 111.60-ish. Okay, now the opposite side of it is an open below 109.71 pushes dollar yen back down towards the 109.06 level. So those are the points that I have. Again, these are just points of interest. And, you have to watch the marketplace at these levels, but at least it gives you something to look at. It gives you points to look at and say, hey, this guy's pretty spot on, or, this guy sucks. But I got no problem with that. Sometimes I'm a genius and sometimes I'm a moron. And this is just what the analysis is telling me. And remember, join the party, dance through the door. Cheers.